Hey guys, Joe at Small Home Off-Grid Prepping here. This is a completely different video. You know, we are Small Home Off-Grid Prepping. These are the things we talk about on this channel here. Off-grid living and, you know, survival, whatever, different things like that. This one is way different for regular viewers and subscribers. You guys know the last video, I basically signed out that we're going to go start the next video. We'd be putting it out in a couple days. Well, what happened after that, I went inside, my wife started editing that video, and I just went on my Facebook to see what's going on, and I had a notification from Facebook telling me that something I posted violated their policies. Okay, it was against their content policies. And I looked at it, and it wasn't something that I posted. Okay, so I started getting more and more into what was going on, and I discovered that what I thought was my Facebook at the time had been hacked into. Okay, as time went on, it turned out that it was a lot worse than that. What I first discovered, though, is I started going through my activity logs, through my security, through everything on my Facebook, and I discovered that somebody on particular dates had basically posted things on my friends' sites. They had hid it so I could see something was posted, but I couldn't see who, I couldn't see what was posted, and you know, a bunch of things I found like that. So I started looking into this. I knew I got hacked into, okay, so I started looking into how people can do this, okay. I'm not a hacker. We want to talk about what this channel is, and these are things I'm an expert in, okay. I'm a master electrician with over 30 years experience, same thing in the AC business. Construction I spent my entire life in, off-grid living, survival. These are things that I'm an expert in, okay. These are things I can talk about, but when it comes to somebody hacking into my computer, this is an attack that I just knew nothing about, okay, and that's the way these attacks are. So I'm making this video today because I spent the last week figuring out everything that happened to me, and it's pretty unbelievable the things these guys do. I actually had to take notes here because, like I said, this is not something I specialize in. This video is going to be getting a different kind of audience. Our normal viewers and subscribers will be watching this, but also based on the thumbnails, the descriptions, and the title, we'll obviously be getting other people as well. So if you're somebody who is in the IT business, you understand this stuff, I want to make this really interactive, okay, because we need to learn a lot about this, because I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to us. It's way worse than what the Facebook is, okay, and I've learned as much as I could in the past week. I literally buried myself in this stuff for the past week. But like I said, I'm not an expert in this field, so people out there are going to know more than I do, and this is something that the whole community and beyond that really needs to know, because like I said, what happened to us is pretty bad. So from Facebook, I started going further and further into this, okay, and I realized a lot of things that were going on in the past were now starting to make sense. Now that I realized that my computer had been hacked into, one of the things these guys do, which I'm going to get into down here a little bit, but we basically discovered that it wasn't only our Facebook that got hacked into, they actually hacked into the entire network. They hacked into my modem. Once they get into your network, they get into your modem, they can get into all your devices. They get into your computers, they get into your cell phones, your smartphones, they get into all that, and that's exactly what happened to us, okay? They also set up what is called a man-in-the-middle attack, okay? And a man-in-the-middle attack basically means when you send out an email or you post something on Facebook, okay, and instead of that going directly to the recipient, you send an email to somebody, instead of it going directly to the person you send it to, it's intercepted in the middle, okay? It's called a man-in-the-middle attack, and they either just intercept it and it never goes through, which is things that started making a lot of sense to me, because my wife and I, we do these YouTube videos to basically help to educate people and all that. We don't get monetized from this. It's not really what we're doing right now. But we are setting up different e-commerce businesses and different things like that as well. So we're in email contact with a lot of distributors and suppliers and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I mean, you're talking 10, 15 emails. Same thing on my Facebook. I'm sending people messages, and all of a sudden, the whole world just all of a sudden ignores me. I'm not getting responses from anybody, okay? And these things just don't make sense. And when I realized that we got hacked into like that, and I understood, I read about what this middleman attack is, then I started figuring out a lot of things, okay? And I started putting things together. One of the things that really got bad, like I said, my emails weren't making it out there to people. I wasn't getting emails people were sending me. Facebook postings, if I sent people messages or putting things on Facebook, there just simply was no response from anybody out there, which now that I got these hackers out, or at least I believe I got them out. If not, they know I'm onto them and they're just basically sitting back idle. So something I have to keep an eye on. But like I said, I'm going to get into all the different things I found on my computer. I found that spyware was added into my computer. But one of the big things is back in April, we filed our taxes online, okay, just like a lot of people do. And when we were done on the IRS website, it basically told us that, yeah, you did it successfully and it's been sent. So we took a screenshot of that. We took a picture of it. And I don't know, 3 or 4 months go by for the IRS. And I did have a refund coming back, but I figured they're busy, you know, with all the corona, they're real backed up and all that. But after about maybe close to 4 months, yeah, I guess probably around August, I decided to give them a call and say, hey, you know, what's going on? Have you gotten my taxes? And I realized that they never got them, okay? So when that happened, I realized that somebody intercepted my taxes. When they left here, I was under a man-in-the-middle attack, okay? So my taxes went to their server first, and it never made it to the IRS. From there, it hit me that somebody has all my information out there. Everything's on your taxes, right? You put everything in there. So next we started looking into our credit to see if somebody stole our identity, and yep, we found that somebody did. My wife's credit, first we found that somebody about 2 months ago, I forget exactly when, maybe a little bit less, in Washington, which I'm nowhere near Washington, pulled her credit for a cell phone. So then we go into her next credit report, and it's completely locked. We can't get into it. We're trying to answer the security questions, and they make no sense. They're asking me about places we've never lived. They're asking me about people we don't know. They're asking just, you know, all kinds of stuff here. So finally we called the credit bureau, and they work it through with her, and they actually get into her, and we're able to see that that was okay. On her credit, we pulled all 3 reports. We were able to finally get into them, and we found out that, like I said, somebody did try to steal her identity and put a cell phone on her name. Or their name, whatever, I don't know. But then mine became a lot worse, okay? Mine, I was locked out of 2 of my 3 credits, okay? The first one, I can see nothing had happened. The second one, I was eventually able to get into and see nothing happen. But the third one is so messed up right now that even they can't access it. The guy at the credit bureau can't access it because the security questions are so messed up that now I have to work with their security team and literally prove that I am who I am, and then we can open up my credit and see if anything's happened on my credit. So I don't even know how bad this is right now. So, like I said, I feel it's really, really important to do this video because this can happen to anybody. And I'm going to get into the symptoms and the signs that you've been hacked. Stay through to the end of the video. At the end of the video, I'm going to put a bunch of links for different resources where I found these things, and they're good. Like CNN has one where they did an interview with former hackers that are giving you advice on how to basically stop hackers from getting into your system. But like I said, I had to write these things down. So what happened was we figured out the router was hacked. Okay, so I get on the phone with my internet company, and going back and forth with the representative on there, and I'm explaining to him what happened. I'm explaining to him all this. So he says, okay, well, let's set this all back to factory, factory defaults. It's going to kick everybody out of there. But as he's explaining to me this, why we did this, I have to push the button, hold the button in, it takes it back to the factory settings. And he's telling me now all the devices out there, you're going to have to type in the factory password. They're not going to sign in on the old password and all that. So obviously that makes sense, right? So as everything comes back on, we actually have 6 devices. My wife and I each have a laptop that we use, and then we each have 2 smartphones that we use. One personal, one business, and we each have them, one of our own. So anyways, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, as the internet boots back up, all 6 of my devices sign in by themselves, okay, with no password, with nothing like that. So I'm telling the guy, I'm like, listen, that's pretty obvious. That's our problem right there, okay? Somebody's in my internet, they've disabled the passwords, and it signs in any device whatsoever by itself. So he's telling me that, oh, that could happen. He's like, if the devices were connected to the old passwords, and they're not. They're pretty well brand new devices. One of the computers is, I think, like 2 years old, but we've had the internet and the modem longer than that. But, one of the other laptops, the phones, a laptop I think is like 5 months old, the one my wife uses for editing and all that. And so these are new devices, they never signed in. So he's just busy trying to sell me his security thing that will monitor and this and that. And I'm telling him, listen, that's a great idea, but that's not going to stop people from getting into my internet here, okay? So finally I got to get a manager on the phone, and I'm talking to the manager, and he starts off in the same direction. Let's reset the password. I'm like, listen, we just did all that. And I explained to him what happened, how all the devices signed in by themselves. Somehow they get in the modem, they disabled my passwords, and anybody can get in. It's like a public network, okay, with no password whatsoever. So finally he gets it. So they send somebody out. They treated this as an emergency, and they send somebody out right away, not the same day, but I think it was the next day. And he comes out and he replaces the entire system. Now, in the meantime, you guys see we live pretty rural here. We don't have like regular internet service. We don't have regular phones out here. I have to have a satellite for my internet, okay? So on a satellite, I discovered there's something that they can put into the satellite itself, which is called a mod chip, okay? And a mod chip will redirect what you're doing to them, to their servers, and it's a way they can do what's called the man-in-the-middle attack. So understanding that my biggest problem here is this man-in-the-middle attack. People are intercepting things. They're intercepting my emails. They're intercepting my Facebook postings. They're putting stuff on my Facebook that I have no idea about whatsoever. So like I said, I figured out could be a mod chip. My property is completely covered with security cameras now. You guys know that. But while we were building the house, we stayed in the RV. This took us a little while. We didn't have cameras set up the whole time. So the internet satellite was there before it had cameras watching it. Now it does. So the guy comes out, and I told him that I want that replaced. So he replaces all that. He replaces the, the modem inside and everything like that. And everything seemed to be working a little bit better. But then I'm looking in, now some of the signs, I'm going to get into this, but I'm still telling you guys what happened to me, okay? So basically now, things aren't completely right. So one of the things that would happen on my computer was when I go into Microsoft Edge and I try to open up Microsoft Edge, it was opening Yahoo at the same time, and the two were fighting each other. Which this is one of the symptoms that your computer's been hacked, okay? So the two are fighting each other. I'm trying to figure out, I'm going through my apps, I'm doing all this here, and I can't get rid of that Yahoo. So as I'm going through all of my apps, I'm going through one of the, I have two windows open, okay? I'm in my apps on one, and I'm on Google on the other, all right? Because I'm not an expert on this stuff. So I'm looking at the app, and then I'm going to Google, and I'm seeing, what I need to do with it, and this and that. So I come across one over here, and I discovered that it was a spyware. And it's a very, very, very bad type of spyware. I'm not sure where I wrote it down. I'll put the note in here. When the video gets edited, I'll put the note what it's called, something web browser. But that's what they did, okay? They installed this spyware into my computer, okay? And it's something web browser. I don't know what it was. It looks legitimate, web browser, right? But like I said, when I looked into this, I found out that it's a very, very aggressive type of spyware. So what was happening is, instead of going through my browser, everything I did on my computer now went through that browser, and it sent it directly to them. And then from there, they will let things go through to kind of throw you off, all right? You will maybe get an email that goes through to the recipient. You will have a Facebook posting that pops up that you can see, and a couple people might. But for the most part, they're going to stop what you're doing, okay? They try to throw you off is what they're doing. So when I discovered that, at this point, I'd gone through a lot of apps. I'd taken a lot of stuff out. We've done a lot of stuff to clean up the computer. It still just wasn't quite right, okay? So when I discovered this, one of the other things that was happening, like I said, when they're in your network, they are in every device you have, okay? And about a week or two ago, something happened to my wife, one of my wife's phones. The earpiece, you couldn't hear any volume, okay? If she called me, I can hear her talking, but she couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear her phone ring, you couldn't hear anything. And I went in my computer and I discovered this web browser, the spyware. When I uninstalled this and I took this out, everything came back to normal, okay? The Yahoo that tried to start up with Microsoft Edge has completely disappeared. The icon that I couldn't get rid of has completely disappeared. My wife's phone has come back to normal. So at this point, everything has gone back to working completely normal, okay? We got rid of the spyware. I did shut down one of the things, you'll see the links I'm going to give you at the end of this video. In one of the links, one of the hackers says, what you need to do if you want to stop these attacks, shut your network down, okay? And this is what I did. You need to go back to old school, okay? It's very, very simple. I shut down my network. We have no Wi-Fi here whatsoever. I plugged a wire into my modem. It plugs directly into my computer. Is this foolproof? It's not foolproof, but you're lessening what they can do, okay? We turn the data off on our phones, and at this point, and I'm going to get into a couple more things here because there's other ways you can tell if somebody's in your computer, and there's pretty well looks like everybody's gone from my computer. Everyone's working 100% normal. My Facebook has come completely alive. My emails are going back and forth, so it looks like I said, either they know I'm onto them and they're sitting idle so they can hit me later. You have to keep an eye out on these things. Or I got them out. I'm not sure which one. So that's our story. That's what happened to us. That's why our video has been stalled. I've been very focused on this for the last week. This is what happens. When something like this happens to me that I don't understand and I don't know, I'm going to bury myself in education. I mean, the first 3 days, I don't know if I got any sleep. Not this Sunday, but the past Sunday when, the weekend all this happened. It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm still on the computer. My wife's like, just give it a break. Pick it up tomorrow. Give it a break. I'd spent so much time on this, but that's how I get, okay? So that's what happened to us. Now I'm going to get into some signs that your router's been hacked, and I'm going to give you a couple things that you guys can do about this. One of the signs that your router's been hacked is your internet suddenly starts slowing down, okay? You have high-speed internet. Now, a lot of times we think, and I've done the same thing, my computer's getting older. It's not moving as fast. It's not... No, that's not the case, okay? Your computer starts slowing down. That's a sign that you've been hacked, okay? You see apps on your computer that you don't remember installing. You're like, I don't ever remember seeing that. Oh, it must have been on from the factory, this and that. Well, guess what? People get in there and that's what they do. They're installing spyware. They're installing apps that will direct what you're doing to them. It'll route it over to them, okay? So that's also one of the signs. I actually have 10 of them here. Your battery drains fast, okay? And that was another thing that happened to us, is my battery within a half hour would be draining, okay? Well, it's running all these programs, it's running everything, and it's just literally sucking the life out of the battery, which, again, I'll get into later, because your battery, you can monitor your battery, and you can monitor your battery history, and you can actually see what apps are draining from your battery, okay? Which is another way to know that you're being hacked. So Your battery drains fast. Your battery drains fast, and you hear the fans on your computer speed up. Okay. Your webcam suddenly turns on. Now this you have to really watch out for. What I've done, I took a little piece of tape and I put it over on both our computers, put it over the camera. But if you're paying attention on a lot of these, you'll notice that there's a little light next to your camera that comes on. Well, that tells you that the camera's on. What these hackers do is they will hack into your camera, and then they can see you typing in your passwords. They can watch what you're doing. They can, they can do anything. They can spy on you there. So, like I said, I put a little piece of tape over my camera. If I want to use my camera, I want to go to a Teams meeting or something like that, I'll just pull the tape off. That's it. But in the meantime, I just taped it. Blinking lights on your modem. If you notice that the blinking sending and receiving lights are constantly blinking on your modem, this is another sign that you've been hacked into. Okay, these are just different things you need to look out for. Apps acting up or running slow or crashing is another one. Like I said, the problem I had was I had two apps trying to open at the same time. Well, obviously the Yahoo was connected to the spyware that was put in, and that was monitoring what I do, and I'm routing it directly to them before it went to my servers. And like I said, in a lot of cases, they can either alter it and send it so your messages aren't what you sent, or they just stop them completely and it doesn't go where they're going. Okay, so they basically shut you down. High data usage. Monitor your data usage. Go into your modem and you can see how much data, whatever, you guys are using, and that's an indication as well. Pop-ups. You start seeing a lot of pop-ups popping up. That's another indication that you've been hacked. Okay. Smart devices suddenly become stupid. Yep, that's exactly what happens. Your computers, your smart devices, they suddenly become stupid. They're trying to open two apps at once. They're opening a different app. You click on this app and something else opens up. Okay, so these are all signs that you've been hacked. All right, so I've covered the middleman attack. So I'm going to get into a couple things right now. Like I said, there's a couple things you can actually do. Okay, you monitor these things, you look at these things. One other thing you can do is if you hit Control-Alt-Delete, okay, it'll pull up a task manager. You can go into that task manager. On mine, it will show you what apps are currently running in your computer. And then you can go to view details from there, and it'll actually show you every app. And mine right now are all 0000 except for the search engine I'm on, which is usually Microsoft Edge. So I can go in and I can see that I'm only running Microsoft Edge over here. So I know nothing else is in my computer, nothing else is hacking in my computer, there's no other apps running in my computer. The other way that you can do is go into settings and check your battery. Okay, you can look at your battery history. Even if, like, say you go to sleep, you think you shut your computer down at night, well, these apps start themselves back up and they will drain off of your battery while they're stealing stuff from your computer, they're stealing data. Keep in mind, when you get hit with this kind of attack, they have everything. Anything you do on your computer, they can do. If you store passwords, guess what? When you have your password, you can hit show, right? It shows your password. Okay, so don't store your passwords. We've gone to two-step authentication for everything out there. My Facebooks, my YouTubes, my email, everything that I sign in is two-step authentication. Okay, so you put in a password and then it sends you a code to your phone. So don't store your passwords because, like I said, they're in your computer. All they do is click show password and they can see the password and they have everything. All right, so this is what happened to us in vulnerability. Oh, yeah. This is a good one, okay? Another way that they get into is what's called vulnerability, okay? It's weak passwords, all right? So don't use weak passwords. People like to use just passwords like, I don't know, happy love, happy whatever. Don't do that, okay? Because they run programs, all right? They're called password cracking programs, and they just literally go through thousands and thousands of passwords at a time, right? So you need to do little tricks, like if you have an O, put something with an O, okay? If you want to use the word love, substitute the O for 0, okay? And that's going to help to confuse these password cracking things. So do little things like that. Use symbols, use signs. Don't just use letters, because these are some of the things that will help confuse these password cracking programs out there. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to include some links over here that you guys can see more than what I've learned. These are different things that I've learned in the last week, and obviously I'm not an expert on all this stuff here. This is just my crash course. Again, if you are somebody in the IT business and you're watching this video, these are things a lot of people need to know. Okay, we're going to make this video very interactive. If you guys respond back to me, we're going to be posting comments. We might do more videos on it. People have questions. There's a lot of things that we just need to share if you guys know this, because like I said, we got hit pretty bad. At this point, our entire system has been replaced. I've gotten rid of all the spyware out of my computer. I go through and I check my task managers, my emails are going through, so at all appearances, it looks like I did get rid of this hacker, okay? But again, I don't know. He knows he or they know I'm onto them, and they might be hiding, or I might get them out. I don't know. So keep an eye on these things. Like I said, I am going to include some links, that resources where I followed, that you guys can further investigate these things yourself and you can learn. But it's a very, very serious thing here. You know, people can really, a relative of mine 5 years ago, I didn't even know this, relative of mine about 5 years ago, same thing happened to her, and her identity was stolen, and they got a lot farther with her. I don't know how far they got with me. Our identity was stolen. My wife, we figured out, is clean. They just tried to do the cell phone, but everything else was okay. Me, I'm so locked, I don't know what happened. But in her case, they did steal her identity. They did charge a bunch of stuff out, and 5 years later, she's still fighting to get the stuff off of her credit. It created a whole mess for her. So these things are real. They do happen. On my personal Facebook the other day, I saw one of my friends post to another friend, say, hey, I think you've been hacked. Okay, these things happen way, way, way more than you guys think. So it happened to us. We were attacked by what I call wolf hackers. Okay, that's a terminology I've never heard, so I just invented it, the wolf hackers, because that's what these people are. They hack into you. They do nothing but just try to mess up your life, destroy your life, and they can come from a lot of different places that you don't even think about, you don't even realize. Let's say that you're somebody in a good position in a company, okay, and you want to get a promotion, and all of a sudden you start seeing things like you're not getting emails. Your regional manager's coming to you and he's saying, hey, listen, why aren't you responding to anybody? Everybody's telling me they're sending you emails, you're not responding. And you go into your inbox and there's nothing there. Well, guess what? They go into their sent box and they're showing your manager, hey, look, it was sent right here. I sent it 3 times, okay? So that's one of the ways they're going to set you up. So now you have you're trying to get a promotion, or you have a job that they're trying to cost you. And that's one of the things that they're going to do. And it could be a coworker, it could be anybody, okay? These hackers come from anywhere. They could be far away, or they could be right under your nose, all right? So, like I said, I felt this is a super, super important video for us to put out here, because we got attacked, we got hit. I got hit by an enemy that I don't know and I don't understand, and I had to take a crash course. When we talk about, you know, defending your property against looters, you know, in a catastrophe, depending, you know, that's these things I know, okay? These things I'm good, I can talk about. When I make my YouTube videos, there is no script. I don't sit down. These are all things that I just talk about. That's it, all right? So, but this here, this is something completely different. I had to give myself a crash course on this. It was something that was really, really bad. There's undoubtedly stuff that I'm even still not even covering that happened to us, because a lot of stuff happened to us. It was more than the Facebook. It was, you know, more than different things. But like I said, the biggest thing was my wife's identity was stolen, and it looks like somebody stole mine. My IRS was intercepted by a middleman attack. So these are things that you really have to watch out for. If you're not getting emails, don't assume anything, okay? If your computer's acting strange, people tell you they emailed you, you put things on Facebook that you know. I mean, our friends, my Facebook, my personal Facebook, we have a couple, but one is my personal, and the only people there are people I know. These are my friends and my family that I grew up with, okay? And when you suddenly have to start people either blocking you or ignoring you, and you're not getting emails from people, there is no such thing as coincidence, okay? It's that simple. If something's happening, it's got to be because somebody's in your system or somebody's making things happen. There is no such thing as coincidence. So, like I said, if you're somebody in the IT business, please respond to this. We want to spend a lot of time on this, because I've learned a lot in the last week. Unfortunately, I'm not computer illiterate. My last job, I was a branch manager for one of the biggest electrical companies in the United States. And I managed the office in my area, and it was a big company, okay? I did over $5 million a year in revenue, and my job was working a computer. We worked with Service Titan. I've worked with all kinds of different apps like that. So I'm not completely computer illiterate, but I don't know anything about this. I'm not a hacker. So fortunately, because I do know a little bit about computers, I was able to take myself in the right track to figure out what happened and take these people out, right? So, again, if you're in the IT business, or you know about these things, or you know something I didn't cover here, please interact with us. We're going to post these comments. We're going to make more videos to get attention to all this. So anyways, guys, for my regular subscribers, like I said, this is going to be a video that's going to undoubtedly get 2 different audiences, okay? We have our normal people who follow what we do here, our subscribers and everything like that. But again, based on what this video is, the thumbnail and the description and titles, there's going to be other people watching this as well who don't really follow what we're doing with small home off-grid prepping. So again, if you know about this, you're in the IT business, you're in the computer business, and you can add to this here to help people, please interact with us. So anyways, to our regular viewers and subscribers, the generator video we talked about last time with the gas, you know, what's the better gases and all that, I'm back on track. We will be getting these things. We are going back into the 4 elements of survival. Everything we talk about on the previous videos, I will be getting back into covering. But like I said, this was a heavy blow. And then on top of it, it got even worse. When the internet guy was here replacing all my internet, I went to the shed to get him a ladder, and I tripped. My flip-flop got caught. I tripped and went face first into my lawnmower. You can still see this little scar right here. 9 days ago, it was a lot worse. My whole side of my face was swelled up. I had a black eye. The nose was all black over here. So it's healed fairly good in the last 9 days. This actually healed quicker than I thought, but we keep, you know, my wife and I are really into holistic stuff and all that, and one of the things she kept doing is putting vitamin E on it and aloe and, you know, different things like that, and had a huge scab on top of my nose here that I had no idea, because it bled so bad that when it scabbed, it was literally like the size of a dime, and it's puffed out. Last night, out of nowhere, this thing just fell off. I was just sitting there. She put some vitamin E on it, so it was nice and moist, and it just fell off. So another reason I hadn't made the videos is my face is kind of pretty messed up here. But we are back on track, guys. So like I said, on this video, if you're somebody who can help us out here, help out the whole community, please do so. Otherwise, guys, I will be back on track with the other videos, and you guys will be seeing them. So have a great day, guys, and we will see you in a little bit.